Hey everyone, I'm here in Laguna Coast Wilderness Park in Southern California, just up from the ocean by Laguna Beach in Orange County. Now, this is a beautiful area because it is undeveloped. So this is what the coast and the hills around the coast used to look like before there were mansions and, all of the development that we see today. And this hike takes you through some of the best areas of this park. In fact, when I first came to the park here many years ago, there's a ton of trails, and I asked the ranger, what's a good medium length, kind of intermediate best of hike that I can do? And the ranger gave me this routing, about 7.5 miles, just over 1,000 feet of climbing, and kind of takes you through some of the more interesting parts of the park, and has some views of the mountains, and it has some shaded canyons, a little bit of everything. So I really enjoy it. I used to take guided hikes here too. It's sort of a fan favorite. Now, if you want to do the hike, I have a full guide as always on HikingGuy.com. Go there before you come. Sometimes they close this park when it gets rainy, and it has certain hours to protect the wildlife here so we don't disturb them too much. So check the website out, call the park, make sure it's open. And I just want to thank you for all of your support. I could not make all these guides without your help. So thank you for everyone who supported me in any which way over the years. I appreciate it. And if you want to show your support or thanks for this video, an easy way is just to click the thumbs up. So thank you for that. All right, guys, let's hit the trail so I can show you this cool park.
So we're going to start at the Nix Visitor Center, which is definitely worth checking out if it's open. There's little interpretive displays in there. They have maps, probably the nicest bathrooms you'd ever find, and a water refill. But right at the end of the parking lot, we're going to start on the Little Sycamore Trail. And there's some short interpretive trails here. You can see the displays in the very beginning, but we're just going to keep going straight on Little Sycamore, which is going to head uphill. And here you can see these are the trail signs that you will find throughout the park. It's really well marked with signage and everything. You really can't go wrong. Here we are at another one of the interpretive trails, and this is sort of the part where we depart the Nix Visitor Center area and start heading a little bit into the backcountry here at Laguna Coast Wilderness. As we go up, there's some neat little hills here. They're not named or anything, only a few hundred feet, but it's still really beautiful to look at. And after a little bit of climbing, it levels out a bit, and there's a couple of these little bridges that we're going to go over. Really scenic, beautiful single track here, kind of windy, but generally uphill. Now towards the end, we have one last uphill, and you'll see that ridge off to the left over there. That's what we're going to go down. That's Serrano Ridge, and we're going to be hiking down Serrano Ridge. Once we get here, this is the end of Little Sycamore, and here we're going to make the left onto the Serrano Ridge Trail. And this is a really nice part of the hike because we're basically along the spine of this ridge here, and we're going to go all the way over there before we head back downhill. But as you go along here, there's some side trails that join in. It's really remarkable, the trail system here between the local trails, the county trails, and state trails of Crystal Cove. It all connects, so it's pretty cool. But we're going to go straight on Serrano Ridge. You're going to get some beautiful views down into Irvine. You can see the blimp hangars from up here in Tustin, if you're familiar with that. But overall views to the right and left. That's the canyon where we just came up on Little Sycamore. And we're going to continue along here. And once we cross this ridge, you can see in the distance there, that's the 73 toll road. And we're actually going to be going under that toll road and then back down around it and back under it on the way back. So it'll be there, unfortunately. Now, when we get here, if you want to bail out early, you can make the left here. You're going to miss some of the best parts of the hike, so I don't recommend it. But you can bail out there on Camarillo Canyon. But otherwise, we're just going to go straight up here towards the 73. And as you twist around, there's a little side trail with the gate up there. We're not going to go there. We're going to keep going straight and twist around to the left until we go underneath the toll road, which is right here. This is such a beautiful and pristine park. You feel like you're much farther away from civilization than you really are, and this, unfortunately, the road is the one reminder that you are here. Once you're under the road there, we're going to make the left on Upper Laurel Canyon Trail. And now we're going to start a long and gradual downhill back towards the road by Laguna Beach at 133. And you can see it's pretty mellow as we get down towards the creek here. more trees. You're not on the ridge anymore. It's a much more lush environment. And I'm actually doing this hike here in March after it's rained, and it's really green and nice. It can get kind of brown late summer. When we get to this junction, we're going to make the left right here. And you can see again, it's well marked. And now we're on Laurel Canyon Trail. And Laurel Canyon is closed to mountain bikers, even though you can see some mountain bike trails right there. This is definitely more mellow, more secluded, and feels like a backcountry single track trail. Here's the creek, which we're going to be following all the way down until we make the turn onto Stagecoach a little bit later. Now, this is one of my favorite trails here in the area around Laguna Beach. And when we get to this part here, this is the dry waterfall. And you can go down here. This is a great spot for a break to have lunch. I've actually never seen water rushing over this, but I'm sure it happens. And allegedly there's an old Volkswagen down at the bottom. Now, you can't really climb to the bottom, and you're not supposed to go off the trail here, so please don't go down there. But you can see, I think, part of a motor if you look closely down there. But regardless, it's just a cool, cool place to hang out and chill and take in the views. And when you're done at the waterfall, we're just going to go back up to the trail and continue on down trail. You can see there's also these posts here with an interpretive display where you can call in or scan the QR code and get some information about what you're looking at. So really well-marked and well-maintained trail system here in Laguna Coast Wilderness. We're going to continue going downhill. We're going to cross over the creek a few times as we go down. And again, I've never seen water in this creek. Maybe I have once or twice, but it's usually pretty dry. And then we're going to come out to a flat plain. We've sort of abandoned or finished the steeper downhill at this point. Now, if you look off to the left here, I marked this on the site with a waypoint. You can see what's called Ghost Rock. Some people call it Pac-Man Rock or Smiley Face Rock, but it's pretty neat. You're not supposed to go off the trail and go up there. I know people have, and you can see pictures of that online, but please be respectful of the trails here. Now, just past that, we're going to make the left onto Stagecoach, and Stagecoach actually goes quite a while. This is the southern portion. This is also a single track. It is open to mountain bikes, so just watch out. But it's really beautiful. It sort of twists around all of these rock structures. And if you go into the Nick Center, they have a whole display and information, interpretive display on the geology here. Now, after a little flat section, we're going to start another little climb. There's not a ton of climbing in this, but there is some up and down, which obviously makes it a little bit tougher. But it's beautiful. Lots of cool rocks and wildflowers if you're here at the right time. And overall, just a nice, pleasant experience here over these 7.5 miles. You can see all the flowers are in bloom right now. Really, really beautiful. And then you see the 73. Not so beautiful, but it's okay. The other bad thing about this stretch is you'll hear the 133, which it sort of parallels. You'll hear motorcycles and stuff on the weekend. Weekdays are a little more mellow. We're going to go under the 73, and then we're going to come around, and we're going to come out to this open plain here. And if you bailed out before, the trail is going to join us in a second. If you bailed out on the earlier trail from Serrano Ridge, right there, the Camarillo Trail, this is where it rejoins, but we're going to make the right here. And you can go through a little gate. Don't be scared. We're still in the park. And once you pass the gate, it can get a little confusing, but they've put signs here the last few years to follow the trail up to the left. And now we have a little bit of a climb. And again, this isn't a big mountain climb. These are just little hills here, little coastal hills, but after the distance, it can feel a little bit tougher than it really is. But we're going to climb. There's some switchbacks to help us up along the way as we go up here. And you can see the flowers are out in bloom. The views are beautiful as we go up. And after a little bit, it will level off, and we'll start to get some views to the north, back towards the start of the hike. That's Barbers Lake up there. And we're just going to follow this ridge around. And once you get sort of the other side of this flat area, you'll be able to see the Nick Center, which is right down there. You can see the roof right in front of us. And at this point, we're almost done with our hike. We just have a couple of sweeping switchbacks to head back down. And again, watch out for bikes. They do ride on here, but generally people are pretty polite in these parts. And eventually after the downhill, you will come back out to the parking area where you started. Now, if you stick around for a second, I'll show you what this all looks like on a 3D map. All right, so here's the loop. We're going to do this in a counterclockwise way around like this. And the parking area in the Knicks Center is right off of the 133, which is right here. If you're coming up from Laguna Beach, you have to cross over. Just watch out. Cars fly up and down this road. But there's plenty of parking. There is a parking fee. I'll talk about that in the guide on Hiking Guy, so check that out. But from here, we're going to go to the end of the parking lot. This is where I was before. And we're going to head up Little Sycamore right here. And you can see there's an uphill, and then it rolls around a bit. And this is where that little bridge was. We're going to come up here, and then we have this little last uphill section before we get up to the Ridge Trail. And then from the Ridge Trail, I'd mentioned the views. And if we look over here, you can see there's Irvine over there. And if I go this way, here's Tustin. Those are the blimp hangars. And you can see in the distance Angeles National Forest on a clear day, and also Saddleback Mountain. But it was a little cloudy on the day I shot this. But anyway, we're going to follow the ridge around. And this is where we come through that other little ridge on the ridge. And you can see the 73 in the distance. We're going to follow this ridge over. This is the bailout. If you want to take the Camarillo down, this is where it bails out right there. But otherwise, we're going to go straight. And then when we get to the 73, we do the little dog leg here. This was that trail with the gate. We're going to go underneath the 73, make the left, head downhill from here. And then this is Upper Laurel. We're going to go down Upper Laurel. And let me see if I can find where the turnoff is. Here it is, right there. This is the turnoff, and this is regular Laurel right there. And you can see it's much more covered in trees and everything. It definitely feels like you're not close to Laguna Beach and all the tourism. You feel like you're pretty far into the wilderness here. I really love it. We go down past the waterfall, and then the canyon opens up onto that flat area. Here's Ghost Rock View. That's Ghost Rock right there. We go down to the end of Laurel, and then we make the hard left onto Stagecoach. We follow Stagecoach up. This is where we went by those rock formations right over here. Over here, we had that first little uphill, and then we went back under the 73. Then we twisted around. We came out over here. This is where the bailout trail came back down. We went through that little gate, made that hard left, and then here was that last little climb. We came up to the ridge, and then here was the viewpoint down to the Knicks Center, which is right there, and then right back down the loop to the other end of the parking lot. And that is the hike, my friends.